Hey guys, welcome to the first of what I hope will be many interesting and detailed videos that involve sawmilling here at the Lazy T. So if you found this video not through the Lazy T Cabins YouTube page, but you found it by searching milling or something like that, welcome. Take a look at the other stuff we have going on here at the Lazy T too. But this category within the Lazy T Cabins YouTube page is going to specifically discuss milling and some of the things that I do here for this project, or these projects I should say. So during these videos like today, I'm going to discuss the log I'm about to put on the mill, talk about some of the problems that I see, dimensions, some of the things that I am going to try and harvest out of the lumber. And yeah, we're gonna put you on regular speed here to watch the whole milling process take place. And for those, I know there's a lot of folks out there that like milling and things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this and we'll see where it leads. All right, guys, here we go. So what we have up here on the rack right now, we have a yellow pine, a typical southern yellow pine log. This is the wide end down here. This is 15 inches. The small end down there, that is 13 inches. Okay, a couple specific things that are a bit unusual about this log here. I've got two anomalies. Looks like some sort of damage at some point during the tree's life. One is right there, and the other is right down here. Not quite sure what happened. I know somebody out there who's really into trees could probably tell us what's going on here. But other than that, there's really not anything unusual about this log. It's pretty straight, doesn't really have a bow in it, and it should yield some pretty good lumber. So from this log, I generally just am going to say I require, but I would like to get one thing, and that is a 4x4 post out of this. So everything beyond that, I'm sure I'm going to get some 8-inch wide, maybe some 10-inch wide, probably a 2x4 too, things like that. So we'll see. We'll talk about what actually comes out of this log at the end. And I'll let you know how I feel about it, whether or not I thought it was a success or where I screwed up. Probably a lot of that where I screwed up type stuff, but all right, guys, let's get on the mill and make it happen. One of the things I wanted to make sure was that those anomalies, one is here and one is right down here, I wanted to be sure they were going to be part of a slab cut, just so I can, really see what's going on underneath it and make any further decision once I see that. So these log stops, there's one here and there's one right here. It's these silver pipes. When I load a log, I have them in their highest position, just so, or I should say, I at least have them in a position to where if the log does just decide to roll forward, it's going to hit those log stops and come to a stop. So because they were up so high, I needed to come on this side to lower them down. That's just obviously just so when I do make this first initial slab cut, I don't end up hitting any of those metal pipes. Before we fire this thing up, I just want to go into just one or two little specific things here about the mill I often get questions about. So this white tank that's up top here, okay, see the large screw on top right there, this is my lubrication tank. What I run in my lubrication tank is water and some pine sol. Right now I've done 100% pine. Everything I've cut so far has been pine, and that pine sol really helps keep things a little less gunky. I also pour a little bit of windshield washer fluid in there. That has been very beneficial here the last couple days because it's been below freezing overnight, and it has certainly helped my water tank to stay thawed. Very specific about this, obviously this is a Norwood saw. This is an LM30. And the blade I currently have on right there is actually one of the Norwood blades. It's a saber tooth. So this being an LM30, their blade size, it's 144 inches. It's 12 feet long. It's 1.25 inches deep. All right, and I believe this is a 7-degree blade. I also have on my sawmill here, these are the ceramic guide upgrades. The mill came with the rollers and they were a pain to keep clean. So I just kind of made the switch here to those ceramic guides, and they've been great. It actually runs a lot quieter now than having those wheels bounce around. All right, guys, let's get to cutting. My log all prepped out here. I did end up putting it up on the toe board in the front. I had to come up about an inch or so to level out the pith from the front to the back. So hopefully this first slab cut out of here will be pretty level, and we'll see what's under these anomalies. Here's how that first cut came out, that first slab cut. So definitely something going on in there. It doesn't look too bad. I'm not quite sure how deep this is going to go into here. That certainly looks a little worse there. So I might take this down another inch or so, see if that clears it up a little bit. So yeah, we'll take another look. So after that first slab cut, this one was definitely a little bit unusual because I wanted to take some more off for those anomalies that were there. But so I generally rotate this 90 degrees. So even though my posts have been plumbed, they are straight up and down, I usually grab a little level that I keep up here. It's magnetized, so it sticks right there. So I usually take a little level and I check it for plumb. Yeah, let's see if we can get that to... I don't know if that's gonna... Anyway, you'll have to believe me that bubble right there is pretty close to the middle. So I usually just do that just to give myself peace of mind. So if you see me on this side of the log after that first cut, that's generally what I'm doing. I'm also now, seeing as that the front here is up on the toe board, I'm also going to check the pith again to make sure that the log is riding level. All right, guys, we got this cant down. It's just about 10 by 10. So the pith is pretty close to the middle, and we'll be able to lop some logs off of that here. But as on my last pass, I was definitely pushing this blade through. So it needs a change. So why not, in my first sawmill video, change a blade. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to get these covers off, and then we're going to take the tension off of a blade with this little T-handle that's right out here. Actually, let me put you guys over there. Taking that tension off the blade, this thing basically just falls out. Let me grab a new blade. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm putting the same, this is another Norwood blade, putting the same type blade back on. Once it's on there, I just try to kind of nudge it. I put a little tension on it to kind of nudge the blade where it's supposed to ride along these wheels, these band wheels. And once it's fairly close, that's when I add full tension, and then I hand spin it, and that centers everything on the band wheels. All right, looks like it's tracking good. Everything's fine. Now we just put the covers back on and fire it back up. All right, guys, that right there is changing the blade on a Norwood LM30. Okay, guys, you saw me. I took that last board off the top here. This is now a 10-inch wide cant. Okay, and you saw me add these boards back to the side of it. So this last cut I took off of this cant dropped it below 8 inches thick. Okay, so now I want to make these boards, because they have pretty good edge on one side. I want to cut this live edge off, and I want to keep them at 8 inches wide. So whatever the result is from this next cut is just how I'm going to keep them. So you can see really on this side right here, there is no kind of straight flat edge. So I wouldn't be able to run this through a table saw. I'd need basically like an edger to fix these boards, and I just don't have that. So we're going to cut these off, and it's going to make them 8 inches wide, and then we'll show you the result when we're done. Okay, so I just made that cut, and you can see that it was, the cant itself was about a 1/4 inch below the 8-inch mark. Because I'm lopping 1-inch boards off of this cant, once it got below 8 inches, I knew I wanted to throw these boards on, so these are now 8 inches wide. But you can see that that left this with a really nice edge on this one side. I do start to get into some live edge, and then down here is just a little bit of wane from the bark there. And of course on the bottom side, you know, there is more there. So that being said, since I do have a nice flat edge up here now, I can do one of two things. I can run this through a table saw and make a cut down here on the bottom side, probably make this a 1x6, or I can flip this over, put this flat edge down on the bunks and make a cut and make it a 1x6 on the mill as well. So one of two things, I could handle that, or I can just leave it. I guess there's one of three things. So I'm going to take these boards off, and I'm going to keep cutting down 1x10s off of the cant. Okay, I think I took off the last 10-inch slab cut off of this, and I'm not quite sure if you can see this, if this is going to show up real well. But so that last cut, the width of this now is 4 1/4 inches. So I need to make another sacrificial cut to lose that 1/4 inch, so that then I'll have the first part of a 1x4. And you can see here the pith, it's fairly well centered. So, but I'm going to take this 1/4 inch off the top here and bring it down just that little bit more. So once I make this 4 inches wide, I can put it up on end, and then I can start lopping off 2x4s on each side until I get that 4-inch width. Again, I'll probably have to make a sacrificial cut just to keep everything lined up. But, you know, we cross those bridges as we come to it. But that's kind of how we're looking, and that's my mindset as I go into this now. that last series of cuts there, that managed to get me 1 2x4 and 1 1x4. So you can see the pith is right there. Maybe if I can focus, yeah. So it's right there. So now I just flipped it over. So now I'm going to start removing this top portion of this excess material, working my way down to where this will be 4 inches. Okay, so I'll probably get a 2x4 out of that, and then we'll see where we're at from there. Alright guys, first log with my milling series turned out to be pretty good. Now this is just the results of what we just walked through. So I ended with a 4x4. The last cut on each side was a 1x4. I got 2 2x4s out of it. That was once it got that 4-inch width. And then there were some larger boards I cut down to 1x8. And then there are 3 1x10s here. Now, this isn't the greatest quality stuff. I mean, I did have those anomalies that were in the log at the beginning, and there are some down there as well, yeah. So, you know, not the best, but this is certainly, you know, wood that I can work with. Now, there is some tension when I was cutting some of those pieces. There definitely is some tension in some of these pieces, so we're going to see how they dry. And, you know, we'll take them as we get them. But that's kind of how this ended up. So first log in my log milling, I wouldn't say tutorial. If you're looking to learn something from me, you know, good luck. But just want to show you the process in a little more detail than on my regular videos here at the Lazy T. So if you like this stuff as I'm looking through it, or as I was milling and I was thinking about it, it'll probably have a hashtag in it. Something that'll be easily recognizable. Probably something like #milling. So we'll go with that. All right, guys, going to close this first video out. We're going to go grab another log.